Rumors have been swirling over the last few days about Dame Lillard to the point that he and CJ McCollum started shooting down the rumors on Twitter. And then yesterday at USA Basketball Media Availability, Dame was asked this question. I want to get the question right because it refers to his answer. He said the question was, quote, would you give back money?
About the situation as I could possibly be. And, you know, things have just continued to come out. Oh, Dame said, you know, he's 75-25 or something. And Dame is excited about this. Dame is going to, you know, give back money. Like, I've seen everything, and I have not said any of these things. So
can I ask if you would do that?
If I would do what?
Actually give back money off of your current contract?
Why would I do that?
I don't know, but it was suggested, so I'm just asking.
No.
So you can't give back money off of your contract, but you could sit out, and then you don't get paid when you sit out. So I believe that was the origin there. It came from a True Hoop story, and that Dame actually pushed back specifically on that story on Twitter. This is a lot of round the circle ways of saying, Perk, what do you think is going on here with Dame and CJ taking all of these reports head on and addressing them? Do you think that that's a good idea for them, or do you think they should just kind of let the noise stay out there?
Well, one thing about it is that Dame been doing this since he came in the league. He's been very outspoken. He's a guy that is not afraid to go back and forth with people on Twitter, on social media. This is who Dame Dollar is. Now, my advice to Damian Lillard is now it's about time for those rumors to start to be true. He needs to speak out because after watching Russell Westbrook get traded to the Lakers, this should be an eye-opener for Dame and say, hey, what's next for me? Again, he's 31 years of age. And I just don't see the Portland Trail Blazers getting any better. No disrespect to CJ McCollum. And I understand that Damian Lillard, he is a guy that said he don't want to run from the grind. And he's not running, okay? Right now I'm telling him to sprint, take off as fast as he can and go find another destination and go find somewhere where you know you could actually contend for a title and be a title favorite, a contender. So, you know, my advice to Dame is it's about that time.
Look, as much as any star in sports, Damian Lillard deserves the benefit of the doubt. If he wants to address these reports publicly and address them specifically, by the way, he should do that. He can do whatever he wants. And it was shocking for me to read, and he never struck me as the kind of player who would sit out games and take fines. Dame is a pro. He's a team player, and I think the Blazers are frankly counting on that. That's what they're banking on for Dame. Dame's going to be a pro through all of this. He's not going to tank his value and all that stuff. So, look, Dame can handle this however he wants. He's earned the benefit of the doubt. And the bottom line is, we can read every tea leaf and every tweet and every Instagram post and every anonymous source and all this. He's either going to get traded or he won't. He's either going to ask for a trade or he won't. We'll eventually find out. And let's just see it play out.
The thing that's hard, though, about, quote, asking for a trade in Damian Lillard's situation is that Supermax just kicks in this year, Zach, right, I believe? So he doesn't really control where he goes. We've seen some players who have been able to say, I want to go here. And because of the value left on their contract, other teams don't want to trade for him if that guy does not want to stay with their team. They don't want to give up all those assets if the guy's just going to leave in a year. Damian Lillard has a lot of years left on his contract. I assume, Zach, that then if he did go to the Blazers with a trade request, they could deal him anywhere, including to a team that feels like they could never get a big star and is in a smaller market that right now doesn't have a lot of championship aspirations. Is that true?
They could, and certainly that's been speculated that Portland has a lot of power here and a lot of leverage here, more so than when a player's in the last year or the second to last year of his deal. But there's also the optics, right? Remember how Oklahoma City was so accommodating? Hey, Chris Paul, where do you want to go? This is Damian Lillard. Teams are rarely in the business of dealing franchise players who have done so much for the team, so much for the community, to Siberia where they don't want to go, to a losing team where they don't want to go. So yes, in theory, the Blazers have a lot of power, and I think they do have a lot of power. They do have the luxury of time. But I don't think when push comes to shove, they're just going to deal Damian Lillard wherever. I think it would require conversation. Hey, this team X that's not very good, that's maybe in a city you don't want to be in, they're offering us way more than anybody else. What do you think? I just don't think they're just going to say, Dame, we have the power, you're going there.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not presenting it as if they would just sort of angrily ship him off. And I would not call any NBA market Siberia, Zach Lowe, but I do think that it is a riskier proposition to ask for a trade if you are a player with a lot of years on your contract. Because at some point, while I know that teams do often want to do the right thing by the players that have meant so much to their franchise, there is still the reality that that general manager would like to keep his job. And that if he makes a deal where he ships off Dame and doesn't get much in return, or doesn't get as much in return as it then becomes known around the NBA, because everything becomes known around the NBA, that he could have gotten a much better deal somewhere else, that will affect that person's job security. So I do think it's a more complex thing than just Dame should go in there and ask for a trade. There's a lot of moving parts, and you wonder whether Portland wants to get into the Ben Simmons business, which is a nice segue to our next topic, Zach. Because the draft came and went without a Ben Simmons trade. How long do you expect this to drag on between Simmons and the Sixers now that there has been sort of public acknowledgement that they are looking for a deal and that Ben and his agent Rich Paul are okay with them looking for a deal with another team?
Look, we know the Sixers are asking for a whole lot, whether it's players and picks. I don't think they have anything close right now. I don't think they had anything close last night. As of now, I would expect this to linger into the summer, which could get a little awkward as training camp approaches. But look, you just mentioned, Rachel, free agency is starting in like 48 hours or something.
Right.
All sorts of chaos is going to happen. We don't know who's going to go where. Things could change in 48 hours. Something could happen to a team that makes them want to get into the Ben Simmons trade. Something could happen to Philly that makes them more willing to trade Ben Simmons. But as of right now, this feels like it's going to linger for a while because I don't think they've really had any traction anywhere.
You know what? It could go for a little while, but I don't think Daryl Moore is going to let it travel into training camp. I mean, watching the James Harden situation, you don't want that effect on your team, right? Philly is still a good team. They still have Embiid. They still have Tobias Harris. And if you can move Ben Simmons and get back some valuable assets, and I'm not talking about, trying to market him like he's Wilt Chamberlain, right? Or Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, because if he's that good, Rachel, you might as well keep him.
Thanks for watching ESPN on YouTube. For live streaming sports and premium content, subscribe to ESPN+.